let's talk a little bit about how a speaker, what strategies can a speaker use to bridge the gap and really build a rapport with the audience, right? Let's say you're going in there. I know one of the first things that you want to do, well, at least when I listened to Pete Vargas, they were talking about you really want to connect, build rapport, like almost that's the first thing you want to do, right? Would you agree with that, or is your framework a little different?
Well, I think, yes, ideally, that is the success of any speaker is how will we connect to the audience? Are they clicking with what we're saying? Absolutely. That's effectiveness for sure.
What are some ways that a speaker could do that, like right off the bat? Like, hey, they just handed me the mic. I can walk up there, connect. I want to connect with that audience immediately. What would be some ways that you could do that?
Well, one thing I work with clients is approach every talk, every opportunity to talk as a conversation. Even if you're standing on stage in front of 100 people, approach it as a conversation. You're engaging with people. And once you have that approach, you're not talking at people, you're talking with them. You're sharing your ideas and you're open to that space of, what do you think? Now, there's always, where there can be an engaging element where, you make it interactive and people could respond and you can ask questions, raise your hand, put something in the chat, have a Q&A. But the idea of I'm not telling you something, I'm sharing something with you as a conversation. And that mindset, that reframing is a way to connect.
Mm. What about, let's talk about stories, right? They say facts tell, stories sell, right? Have you ever heard that?
Yeah.
You heard that? Yeah. Facts tell, stories sell. I don't know who said that either. I'm remixing it, right? Well, actually, it's not a remix. It's like verbatim. I don't know who said it first, but facts
You're
tell.
staying here today.
Yeah. Today, it's my quote. I own this quote. Facts tell, stories sell, okay? And it's true, right? Like, I feel like the facts, the data should support the story, which the story connects emotion, right? And people buy on emotion or connect on emotion. And so talk to me about that. How can someone, like, also even in these podcasts is great. Like, some of the best episodes that we do are the ones that somebody's sharing a story, a personalized, message that, man, people just connect with. So talk to me about that. What's a great way to interject stories into your message? And you even think about Jesus did this all throughout the Bible. He would tell parables, right? So what are some ways to do that?
It's all about your experiences and your stories, because a story explains everything. It explains how you feel. It explains what happened. It explains the data point. You can start out with an idea and a moment and a story, and you have this complex information you have to get across to the team. But yet there are people in the audience that are laymen. They don't understand. They've never heard this before. And then you have the experts. So how do you convey complex information to a variety, of audience members? You share a story, because that story, that experience will not undermine the person that's the expert. They'll take it as, wow, credibility. This person knows what they're talking about. And at the same time, that story explains something to the layperson who doesn't understand in a way that's not over their heads. They could comprehend and engage with and connect with and take it as a learning experience. So stories are pivotal. They are every single bit to do with how we speak and converse.
So I was actually teaching my team to create a talk, okay? And one of the gentlemen that I was working with, his story was up and down and up and down and up and down. I mean, it was all over the place. Like he was trying to tell the story, but it was just too much. And it was like literally highs and lows, highs and lows, highs and lows, highs and lows. And it's like, hard to follow. Like, where's this going, man? Like that's what I was thinking in my head. I'm like, where is this going? Like, what are you trying to, what's the message, the core thing that you're trying to teach me or tell me? Because it was just like your whole life's journey. I'm like, some stuff is okay to remove, right? We don't have to put it all in, right? Can you talk to me about, have you heard of, I'm sure you're probably familiar with like the hero's journey, and like, do you teach that, or is that something that like, don't talk to me about that. Is that something you agree with, and would you align with that, or do you teach something maybe a little different?
Well, we all have a hero's journey. Our story is our journey. We all start somewhere. We all have had a first job. We all had a first something, a first time we've rode a bicycle, a first time we learned a foreign language, a first time we drove a car. Where our lives are filled with firsts, and that journey is our journey. That's our experience. And it's very important to make that part of the conversation and a part of your talk, and to the piece where, how do I know what to share and what's oversharing? Well, that's where the sprinting technique comes in from the framework, because when you could distill it down from 90 seconds or even a 20-minute rambling speech to 90 seconds to 60 seconds to 30 seconds, you realize that not only can you get your idea crystallized in such a short amount of time, but those short sprints help you to craft your message in such a short amount of time that you're not over talking, because we have to give our audience a chance to digest what we're saying. And speaking in short segments allows that space. I say something, you hear it, you connect, now we move on. So the framework kind of helps you to get to both those places in a way that makes sense and is helpful to you and to the audience.